Hello, everyone. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about money. And I'm going to talk about two articles or two news articles that I read and I watched just today. These are recent news. In the Bible, there's a demon called Mammon. You can either pronounce it Mammon or Mammon, right? It's Mammon. That's the name. Do you know what that name means? It means money. The very word, the very name of that demon literally translates to money. So that should tell you something. The Bible is warning you, that money can be very enticing, just like a demon. If you're someone who only cares about money, greed is a sin. There's a reason why greed is a sin. This is also the reason why the Bible warns you, to be aware of sinners. Do not dwell in the midst of sinners, because sinners are the greediest people in this world. Sinners only care about money. That's usually why they sin. Most people sin, a lot. One of the greatest sins in this world is usually, always has to do with money. Murder, theft, you know, and all the other things in life, betrayal. People do so much. This entire world is filled with so many greedy people who only care about money. And you have to be, you have to be aware of it. Because these people do anything for money. There's a statistic that that I keep talking about, which shows that you're more likely to be harmed by someone you know than someone you don't know. You're more likely to be killed by someone you know than someone you don't know. That should tell you something. It tells you to beware of sinners, whether you know them or not. Beware of sinners. If you know the family members who are extremely greedy, be very careful of them. Be very careful of showing wealth around people who are greedy. Why? Because they may do anything to acquire your wealth. They may do anything, even evil deeds, to acquire what you have. And these greedy people, it doesn't matter if they're richer than you or not. They will still try every way to steal your money from you. Because these people value money more than happiness. They value money more than their lives. They value money more than your life. People who only see money in this world are the greediest, evilest people in the world. I always say it. The people who value mammon are the demon, the demon more than, more than life itself. People who only value money more than life itself are the greediest people in the world, are the evilest people in the world. Because you don't know what they'll do for money. People who value money more than life, you need to be careful of them because you don't know what they'll do for money. Which brings me to the article that I just read. There are two articles. One was an Asian article. I don't think it's from China because the language wasn't Chinese. I think it's one of either Malaysia or Thailand. It's one of these the other Asian countries where a daughter-in-law, right, brought a random man to to an old woman's house, and that man killed the old woman. This is the woman who died. It was her daughter-in-law who killed her, who hired someone, who told someone to come and kill her. And the video was, the killing was recorded. The guy just came in with a bat, a thick bat, and just start slamming, the old lady's head. And the old lady looked like a nice person. He treated them well. He treated them well. From the security camera, you can just tell, the lady was a nice. At least when she was kind to, her daughter-in-law who invited the demon in. And the reason why the daughter-in-law killed, hired someone, told someone to come kill her mother-in-law, her old mother-in-law. She was like, you just tell she was, closer to like 60 plus. An old woman who's 60 plus after living so many years in your life, just to be killed by, violently killed by a random stranger you don't even know. The old lady was just relaxing in a chair after inviting, her daughter-in-law and another woman in, and then the random guy just came and just started killing her. Just started killing her. This is what you be careful of, because that daughter-in-law, do you know the reason why, the daughter-in-law, killed her? For her property, for the money in her house, for her valuables. They even stole her valuables after killing her. This is what people do for money. People who only care about money and material goods, you don't know what they'll do for it. You don't know what they'll do for it, whether they know you or not. They just add to the statistics, of people killing their friends and family members for money. There's just too many people who kill, who rather kill people for money than just earn an honest wage. They believe in a world where you get told money matters more than life itself. The entire world constantly tells you how great money is, how money is more important than everything in this world. You got celebrities constantly yelling and screaming at you, telling you money matters more than this, money matters more than life. How can people not become greedy demons who would do anything for money? That's why there's so many people, there's so many cases of people yelling and screaming at celebrities for being sellouts who sold their soul for money. And there's the truth. When you do something evil for money, it counts as selling your soul for money. If you open your mouth and tell people money matters more than happiness, money matters more than happiness, that's a sin. You're lying. You're deluding and deceiving others into being just as demonic as you are. Just as demonic as, all these demons who only care about money, who will kill people, their own friends and family members, their own loved ones who care about them the most for money. If you open your mouth and tell people and deceive others, you are sinning. If you open your mouth and deceive others, lie to others that money matters more than everything, trick them into sinning, that's a sin. It's a sin to manipulate others into sinning. And then it is a sin. Your life matters more than money. Your very life matters more than money. Many people do not see that. Do you know what happened to the person, the daughter-in-law? Guess what? She got caught. There was a security camera in the house that videotaped them. That videotaped the man killing the woman. The man got caught. He was shot. His legs were shot. Now he's not a disabled person. Who knows what will happen? Some of these Asian countries, they will kill you if you murder someone else. It's not the United States. Just theft alone is, it's a crime worthy of death. In many Asian countries, theft alone is all you need to die. So this is what you have to be careful of in life, is that greedy people never care. They never care about the consequences of their actions. They only care about money. They'll do anything for money, including harming their own friends and family members. It's easy to say I love you. It's hard to actually love someone. It's easy for these greedy people to delude you into thinking they care about you, when the truth is all they care about is money. The next news article that I read was just recently, where some guy in Africa, right, went to a daycare. He just started killing children. And you know the reason why he killed the children? Because he wanted to, he used the children as sacrifice. He wanted to use the children and kill that sacrifice to make money. And guess what? He couldn't even escape. After killing the children, He couldn't even escape the daycare center. He was caught, and then guess what? He was trialed and killed. Where's the money now? When you risk your life for money, you keep forgetting that at some point in time, the risk does not work. It's not worth the reward in any way, shape, or form. Because if you get caught, how are you going to spend the money? If you don't have a life, when the government catches you and kills you, how are you going to spend the money, you made harming others when you don't have a life to spend that money with? When you don't have a life to spend the money, how are you going to spend the money, you've been doing all these cruel acts to gain? And every cruel act will get you punished. You will always be punished by God in this world for your cruel acts. You will always be punished by God in this world for your sins. The road to hell always appears enticing. This is why people always choose the road to hell. When a shady demon, they're not. I won't just call these celebrities who only care. Well, I guess I'll call them demons. Celebrities only care about money. In my eyes, are no different from demons. When you listen to these demons trick you into thinking that money matters more than happiness, right? It sounds so enticing when they open their mouth. When these celebrities and these famous people and these rich folks and these influential folks open their mouth and tell you that money matters more than everything in life, right? It's so enticing to just fall for it. Hell is so enticing, isn't it? It is enticing. Going to hell always looks like, hell from afar always looks like the most beautiful place in the world. This is why most people go to hell. Because people are incapable of seeing the consequences of their actions. They don't know the consequences of sin. They keep thinking, okay, if I sacrifice these children, right, I get to make money. It doesn't cross their minds that they'll be caught. It doesn't even cross their minds that they'll be punished. It never crosses your mind every time you sin that you'll be punished. But yet you always get punished. And the punishment always far outweighs the benefits of sin. Otherwise, it won't be called going to hell. Every time you sin, you take one step closer to hell. Every single time you sin. There's a reason why, money is called a demon in the Bible. There's a reason why. You have to be cautious of people who cherish money more than life itself. You have to be cautious of people who only care about money. The people who only care about money do not care about you, meaning they could harm you for money. Especially your family members. If they're your family members and you see them, you notice that they're the greediest people in the world, be very careful. These guys can get an insurance behind your back on your head, and then harm you for your insurance money, for the insurance money. These people could trick you into giving them money. They can trick the government into giving them your property after you're dead, because they're your family members. Since they're your family members, the government, will end up giving them your property because, hey, you have no one else but them. So if they get rid of you, they can use they can take your property and use it to make what? Money. The ones they can sell, they sell it. The ones they can use them by themselves, they use it for themselves. There's a reason why, you're more likely to be harmed by someone you know than someone you don't know. And there's the truth, You have to be careful of greedy people. You don't know what a greedy person would do for money. You never know what a greedy person would do for money, whether they're your family members or not. The moment you start seeing them, care about money more than life itself, that's when you start to realize, it's a warning. It's a warning call for you. It's a warning. People who only care about money will never care about you. If they don't care about you, it's only a matter of time before they sell you out for money. It's only a matter of time before they betray you for money. It is only a matter of time before they betray everyone around them for money. Money-hungry people are some of the evilest people in the world. Because there's nothing they won't do for money. including harming their own family members, including harming the ones who help them the most in life. This is why the Bible tells you to beware of sinners. Do not dwell in the midst of sinners, because your safety will not be guaranteed. If you're someone who likes hanging around, greedy people, just know that your safety is not guaranteed. These guys could turn on you for just a Rolex. If you buy a Rolex and you hang around these people, they could sell you out for that Rolex. You can be kidnapped, bullied, beaten for your watch. A simple watch, in the eyes of these greedy people, is more valuable than your life. A simple pair of shoes is more valuable than your life in the eyes of greedy people. This is why you need to be very, very careful of money-hungry people. It tells you they've already lost their sanity a long time ago. These are morally bankrupt individuals. All they care about is money. They no longer have any morals to care about your life, the well-being of anyone around them. They only care about money. They only care about Mammon, the demon of money. You also have to be careful of people who dress in expensive things as well. People who love money are always the ones who always dress, in the most gaudiest way possible. If you see a politician, you see them always wearing expensive clothing, expensive this, expensive that. It's a warning sign for you. It's a warning sign for you. It tells you that this person only cares about money. If he's not humble enough to buy normal clothes, he doesn't care about you. It's hard to tell a good person from a bad one because they always like to pretend. The bad ones are the ones who pretend they care about you the most. It's hard to tell, a bad politician from a good one because the bad politicians always love to pretend they care about you. So you never see them, unless you catch them on the act of doing evil, you never see them you never see them as an evil person. They always love to act as if they care about you more than everyone else. But there are signs of an evil person. One of the signs is they value money more than life. They value material goods more than everything. People who overdress, people who care about, jewelry and all these things, tend to value money more than everyone else. They tend to value money more than life itself. People who care, people who overdress, you see them wearing expensive clothing all the time. You see them wearing expensive jewelry all the time. It tells you something. These are money-hungry people. They're very money-hungry people. And money-hungry people, if you give a money-hungry person political power, all he'll do is use it to make more money. He doesn't care about you. He only cares about making money. Money-hungry people are the most bankrupt people in this world, are the greatest sinners around. And the greatest sinners around are also the greatest liars. They're also the greatest manipulators. They're also the greatest thieves. They're also the greatest scammers. The way someone dresses, tells you their mindset. People who care about money love buying expensive things. Otherwise, what's the point of money? What's the point of money if it's not to show off? That's the purpose of, most people who care about money only want money so that they can show off how cool they are. And these people who only care about money always love buying overly expensive goods. They love dressing up, wearing the most expensive jewelry, the most expensive things in this world to show everyone how cool they are, to show everyone how valuable they are. So these are signs. These are signs that this person only cares about money. He's a very morally bankrupt individual. People who only care about money can be seen from a mile away. They're the ones who dress, the most fast in the most expensive things. They're the ones who drive the most expensive cars. They're the ones who buy the most expensive houses. They're the ones who waste their money spending it on the most expensive, worthless items in the world, getting scammed in the process. Because in their mind, when something is more expensive, it's more valuable. That's the mindset of a greedy person. That's why he wants money so much, because he believes in his mind that something is more, the more valuable something is, the more it costs money, the more money it costs. When the truth is, that's not the truth. Something is valuable because it's valuable, not because it costs money. Valuable things are valuable whether you price them as $1 or $1,000,000. They will still be valuable. Cost has nothing to do with value. Because there are scammers out there who will sell you a piece of rock that has no value whatsoever and delude you into thinking it's the most valuable thing in the world. There are scammers out there who will sell you an image of a plane for hundreds of millions of dollars, tricking you into thinking you're buying a real airplane. Then when you spend all that money buying the plane, they'll send you what? A picture of a plane through the mail. And now what? You try to find them, you don't know where they are. You try to find their location, you don't know where they are. You try to find, where they live, who they really are. You end up realizing these guys are scammers. Their identity was fake, everything is fake. But this is the life you have to live in. Greedy people always experience the consequences of their greed. Their mindset gets them punished all the time because they're the easiest ones to be scammed. Evil people, fall for their own scams. The easiest person to scam is another evil person. So evil people always end up scamming each other because they're too greedy to even care about the truth. But this is the punishment, You get punished for being evil in this world. You think doing evil deeds will get you all the benefits because there's so many people out there telling you, hey, come on. Money matters more than life itself. Money is everything. Money is everything. Sell your friends out. Sell your family members out. Sell your country out for money. Who cares? Who cares about your country? Sell them out. We can make you you can get millions of dollars if you sell your country out for money. Who cares if everyone in your country dies? You become a rich person. And there are people in this world who will sell their very country. They'll sell their friends and family members. Their entire country, they'll sell them out for money in a heartbeat. These are politicians. These are celebrities, and these are normal folks as well. Not just celebrities. They're normal people who will sell their country out for money if given the opportunity. There are normal folks out there who will sell their friends and family member out for money because they think somehow money automatically means happiness. It doesn't. Why? Because you get punished for your sins. You'll be punished by God for your sins in this world. The road to hell always appears enticing. Hell always appears enticing because it's where the liars are. Sinners are liars. Satan is the father of lies. And liars always love to paint the most beautiful picture for you to entice you. Scammers always are the greatest liars around. They can paint the most beautiful picture for you to enter. The greatest trap. If you ever fall for it, if you ever fall for these scams, you end up realizing that your life is ruined. Just like the two, criminals that I talked about on on the news, the two criminals that I talked about just on this episode. The ones who will kill their family members out for money. The ones who will kill innocent children for money without even thinking about the consequences of their actions. You always pay for your sins in this world. If you're someone who's money hungry and you don't value your life, the truth is, if you don't value something, you'll lose it. If you don't value your life, you lose it. If you think money matters more than your life, sooner or later you're going to lose your life. When you lose your life, how are you going to, what are you going to use to spend your money without your life? You need your life to spend your money with. You need to use your life to spend, in order to spend money. If you lose your life, how are you going to spend the money you risk your life to gain? How are you going to spend the money you risk your life to gain after you lose your life? Come on, tell me. But it doesn't matter. People who are honest, good people will understand what I'm trying to say. Evil people, they're too evil to care about the truth. They only care about making money. Because they only care about making money, nothing they'll do will ever truly change their minds. Logic only works on logical people. Illogical people are incapable of understanding logic. That's why they keep getting, that's why it's so easy for them to fall for the scam of money. That's why it's so easy to, to trick them into sinning for money, into doing evil deeds for money. Because all they see is the benefits of hell. They never see the downsides of hell. They never see the downsides of sin. And there are downsides to sin in this world. Just because no one tells you about the downside of sin does not mean they do not exist. Just because no one tells you about the downside of sinning for money does not mean they do not exist. Money and happiness are not the same thing. These are two different words for a reason. Money is money. Happiness is happiness. They're not related in any way, shape, or form. Stop tricking yourself. Stop deluding yourself into thinking money somehow makes you happier. It doesn't. If it did, all these celebrities won't be dying from suicide. There are too many celebrities, cases of celebrities dying from suicide. These are rich folks, yet they still kill themselves. There are too many celebrities, there are too many politicians killing each other politicians on a daily basis. All over the world. These are rich folks. Why aren't they happy? The world is filled with rich folks, and social media shows you their lives. None of them look happy to me. You keep chasing after, what they have. Yet, when you look at what they have, you realize it's a smokescreen. They tell you money makes you happy, but yet their lives aren't happy. The world wouldn't be filled with so much violence if rich folks are happy. Most of these government officials that they're always going after wars are rich. Do they look happy to you? If they were happy, they'll be spending their time doing happy things instead of being a warmonger. If they were that happy, don't be hiding behind bodyguards, fearing for their lives on a daily basis. There's no happiness in hell. There's no happiness in hell. No matter how many times Satan tells you hell, is filled with happiness. Do not fall for lies. And it's all lies. If these guys were so happy, if money itself makes you happy, the rich folks would be the happiest people on the planet. Yet, all they do is divorce each other, husbands and wives divorcing, children constantly, coming on social media, mocking and insulting their own parents. Wasn't it recently where, a celebrity's child killed, his two parents? These are rich folks. Yet they still harm each other just like poor folks do. They still suffer just like poor folks do. A good person will be happy whether he's rich or poor. Most people aren't good people. Why? It says so in the Bible. It's easier to sin than it is to be a good person. And you get punished for your sins in this world. Whether you're rich or poor, you'll be punished for your sins. Rich people do not get a free pass from sin. Even if you didn't sin to make money, as long as you sin in any other way, your life will still be miserable, just like everyone else. Not all rich folks make their money, doing evil deeds. You know, not all rich folks do that. They're kind rich folks who live, who made an honest living than the evil ones who only, do evil deeds for money. Some people end up getting rich randomly. There are rich folks in this world who just got rich just from, gambling, playing the lottery. Do you really think these guys got their money off evil? No. All they did was play the lottery and they won. And some of these folks create businesses. Some of these rich folks have created businesses that help the lives of many people. So just being rich does not mean you're an evil person. Just being rich does not mean you did evil deeds for your money. But it also doesn't mean you're happy either. Because as long as you sin in this world, the more you sin, the more your life becomes more miserable. If you don't change your ways, your life will be miserable whether you have money or not. And it shows because rich folks suffer just as poor folks suffer. Rich folks commit suicide just as poor folks commit suicide. Rich folks kill others just as poor folks kill others. There's no difference between the two demographics. There's just less rich folks than poor folks. Because there are less rich folks than poor folks, people automatically assume rich folks are happier. When the truth is, there's just too little of them for you to realize that their life is just as miserable as yours. So you keep deluding yourself into thinking they're happier when there's no difference between them and you. Not much difference. Stop lying to yourself. Stop allowing the devil to trick you into sin. The road to hell always appears enticing. The road to sin always appears enticing. Money matters more than happiness. How many times have you heard that before? Money matters more than life itself. Money matters more than your family members. Chase after money. Money is the only thing that matters in life. You heard those slogans before, right? Guess what? If you chase after money and forget your own humanity, forget your own morals, your life will be ruined. You will ruin your life with your own hands. Do not blame anyone else for your own problems. You are the ones who sinned. You are the one who sinned. You are the one that allowed these evil words to manipulate you into thinking there's some sort of nirvana, some sort of heaven waiting for you out there. As long as you have money, you automatically go to heaven where, no problems exist anymore. You're automatically happy now. The world is not a happy place without violence. You'll be safe from all these violent things. As long as you have money in your bank account, you'll be safe from violence. You'll be safe from thieves. You'll be safe from kidnappers. You'll be safe from your greedy family members that'll kill you for money. Guess what? You will not be safe from these things. In fact, money will draw these things to your doorstep. The more you show off your money, the more these people, will be attracted to you. Thieves, criminals, scammers, and outright murderers will come chasing after you. If you're someone who shows off your wealth, just know what you're doing. You're not attracting friends to your doorstep. You're attracting greedy thieves to your doorstep. Because only greedy thieves are attracted to money. Only greedy thieves want to be your friend just because you have money. Good people will be your friend whether you have money or not. If you're a poor person, they'll still like you. If you're a rich person, they'll still like you. Only a greedy person will like you only because you have money. Only a greedy person will like you only because you have expensive things. If your friends only like you because you have expensive things, they're not your friends. They're the demons pretending to be your friends. And sooner or later, they'll sell you out for the money. If they can find a way to steal your money from you, it's only a matter of time before they steal your money from you. Evil people love to pretend they're the kindest people in the world. Greedy people love to pretend they care about you until they find a way to steal the money from your hands. This is the world where this is the world of rich folks. The world of rich folks is the world where greedy people run towards their doorstep in droves. People who think money matters more than happiness will run towards their doorstep trying to find ways to steal the money from their hands. They'll fight tooth and nail looking for a way to grab every single ounce of dollar from their bank accounts, from the bank account of these rich folks. How can rich folks be happy when the world is filled with sinners who only care about money, their money? The money that these rich folks have in the bank account. There are way too many people out there who would do anything for that money, including kill them. Do not think rich people are just happy just because they have money. They have their own problems to deal with. They have thieves to deal with. They have scammers to deal with. They have murderers to deal with. They have kidnappers to deal with. They have their own greedy family members to deal with. This is the life we live in. In this life, you get punished for sin in this world. And sinners are not protected from evil. Sinners are not protected from death. Sinners are not protected from scams. Sinners are not protected from scammers and liars and manipulators. People who do anything, do any evil act for the money. So you really have to be careful in this world. Do not be deluded into thinking heaven exists in hell. It doesn't. Heaven exists when you start to cherish your own life. When you start to see your life as valuable without money, that's when you start going towards heaven. Why? Because God created you. God spent so much time and effort creating your life. If you don't value the things that God has given you, you will never be happy in this world. And it starts with your life. If you don't value your own life, you will never be happy in this life. If you don't value what God has already given you in this world, you will never be happy. And God is giving you your life, your family members, in the position you're in right now. Be grateful for your life. Be grateful that you actually exist in this world filled with color, taste, sound, and all the cool things in this world. There are a lot of cool things in this world that you're not paying attention to. When you only care about money, you don't care about anything else, not even your life. So you ignore all the good things that life has to offer and only chase after hell. Only chase after money mindlessly without ever really thinking that, is this really what I want? God has spent so much time and effort creating you, yet you're too ungrateful to even appreciate the fact that God brought you into this world. You're too ungrateful. How are you going to be happy when you're ungrateful to God? How would you ever be happy if you're not grateful that you exist in this world? You never will. No matter how much money you have, you will never be happy if you do not value your life. If you do not value yourself. If you do not value God. And if you do not value all the good things that God has brought to you. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.